they would put the DJ booth in the middle of the dance floor on top of, like, what are they called?
Lifeguard stand?
Lifeguard stand.
No way.
And fill the entire club with sand, bro.
Imagine cleaning that up.
Oh, my God. Sand everywhere.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
Jeff London, DJ Jason Smith.
Here come the bang.
When the sun goes down, the music turns up. A whole new world opens up behind the velvet rope. Join us as we take you behind the scenes of the nightlife world.
Are you ready?
DJ Jason Smith, Jeff London. I'm the promoter, he's the DJ podcast, live from Boston, Massachusetts.
Go. Rock, paper, scissors, bro.
1, 2, 3, shoot. It's like 5-4.
Yeah, whatever.
Episode 23.
We back in the studio.
After a little vacation. Back with Hurley.
Took some time away and did it remotely. We had to get back in here with Hurley. Shout out Hurley one time.
Hey.
Yay.
What up?
Production crew in the building. Jeffrey, episode 23. How's your week this time? Let me ask you, my friend.
Back at work has been good. Last night, I thought your set was actually pretty amazing. I actually like when you spin on Wednesdays. You get a little more open, I guess, I would say.
Well, let's speak upon that for a minute, shall we?
Shall we?
So, one of our big promoters up here, we started this new party at one of our restaurant lounges in Boston called Empire, if you're not aware of. And it's my favorite party by far that we do, because sometimes when I'm put in these big rooms, I'm constricted on what I could play. Not by anybody in the company or anybody telling me what to play. It's basically the crowd constricts me to what I need to play.
Right.
And
I think venues do too. I think size does too, though.
It does. So, speaking about this Wednesday party and how the music is so different and diverse is because the room is already just popping. There's already energy in the room. You know what I mean? Like, with a big room, you have to create the energy. Right. With a small room like this, it almost already has an energy to it. And if I play the wrong song, it's not going to clear the dance floor.
Right. Yeah.
People are just going to stop moving, but they're still going to be packed into their tables.
Right.
Because let me emphasize a little bit. This party is basically just all table service. There's no GA dance floor. There's no nothing. You could go to the bar and stuff, but it's generally...
It's either you get a drink at the bar or you're
at a table.
Yeah.
And the energy is just great. And I get the party's put together very well. Jeff London helps out and brings a very beautiful crowd in there. And we have another guy, Daryl, and they just want to have fun. And it gives me the opportunity, not only because I'm not constricted to putting on a show. Mm-hmm. Like at the bigger venues, you got to put on a show. People are just staring at you in the front row.
Right.
So you constantly, and if you play the wrong song in one of those big rooms, it gets noticed by everybody.
Right.
If I play something weird at like our Wednesday party, people know it.
Right. People still
half
dig it.
Half the room still dig it, and half the room doesn't, and it doesn't look obvious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I played like 90s like Latin house music last night for a little bit. That was like deep. Like, so talking about this Wednesday is it gives me an opportunity to play something different, not only outside of the big clubs that I usually have to do, but it allows me to play something different every Wednesday.
Right.
And I was just thinking about this in the car on the way here, and it has nothing to do with our podcast or anything. But it wasn't, I thought about this and it wasn't made, I didn't think about it to say this on the podcast, but now that we discussed it, it has to do with it. I know this is going to sound weird, but one of my favorite bands to see is obviously the Grateful Dead. If you guys don't know, they're a fucking old school jam band, hippie band. And people go on tour with the Grateful Dead because every single night they play a different show. It's not like Guns N' Roses. Like I went to see Guns N' Roses the other night. I could see them on Thursday and then 2 days later see them in New York, and it's the same show back to back to back to back. Every night you don't know what you're going to get from the Grateful Dead, and that's why you continuously go to a show every single time
to hear something
new, or Jerry plays it a different way, or you know what I mean. It's always different. There are structures to the show that are actually the same, where they have space and they do the drum solo, and that's like me. There's always gonna be structure to my gigs where I DJ and I'm gonna play the same pocket of songs because they just go together. It's not like I'm just doing the same thing every night. It's just they work. And it's just like coming up with a routine. It's just like I come up with like 3 or 4 different records that just work. So this party on Wednesdays is really fun, and I'm happy that you guys have came up with this opportunity for me to give me that platform to do that, because it's fun for me. Everybody asks me, they're like all the time, like, wow, you play so different from everybody else. Well, I play so different from everybody else because I like to paint with different pictures.
Right.
It's almost like we were talking about porn the other day. Like, not like in a weird way porn, guys, trust me. But like, when you look at porn, you're like, all right, this video's cool, but there's got to be a better one. So you're always searching for a better video, and then you're like 3 hours into like Pornhub, and you're like, oh man, I could have just went with the... Oh, my cousin posted, shout out my cousin Slim, said that they mastered Michael Jackson's Bad. Don't quote me on the exact song, but it was one of Michael Jackson's songs 92 times. Mastered it.
Wow. 92 times.
92 fucking times, bro. Know what master they used?
What?
Master number 2.
No way.
Dude, so that just goes to show, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, this is getting on to, now we're talking about that, like how now Kanye is doing stuff over and over and over.
Well, I saw it. Yeah, exactly. And that's cool you brought that up, because I actually saw something the other day that somebody tweeted out and said, I think it would be really cool if Kanye released it now, and then just uploaded the new versions as it went along. You could see the process of how they work. Cool. But being an artist, you don't
want to show that
because you don't want the album's done. You know he's just tweaking the littlest fucking things that have it's not like anything's changing in the album. It's just different sounds. Maybe he wants to change out the synth, or you know what I mean? But that's the way Kanye is. And I got to respect that, because that's the way he paints. You know what I mean? And I think that's cool. He must have just felt in the zone at the Atlantic City, what was the Atlanta Dome or
the stadium,
and just like, yo, I'm gonna just I think he's paying like $1 million a day for that room or something
crazy.
Yeah, don't quote me on that either, but yeah, something like that. So that's his creative process.
Yeah, Prince's
creative process was he lived literally in a recording studio rehearsal hall that was called Paisley Park.
Right.
And I just watched a documentary the other day, and they were like, it's not a big deal or not weird to get a call from Prince at like 4:30 in the morning and be like, are you ready to go? Let's record this.
Right.
It's just passionate.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's pretty good stuff.
And then we're talking about that. We have a little section after we go through the show a little bit where you have some things you wanted to talk about. And we'll get back to the part about Prince writing his own shit and stuff like that.
We can go into that. We can skip right to that.
No, that's good, man. Let's go into the question of the week, dude.
We got a question of the week.
Yeah, dude. Question of the week. Thank you guys so much for all your questions every fucking week, man.
This one's a good one because it's a reflective one. And it's for both of us.
And it has to do with something I just discussed off there about my therapy, apparently. Right? It's about the same thing.
But this is about the industry.
Oh, okay. But it could be like setting goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question of the week is, where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, and 10 years?
Well, that's like
in the industry.
Yeah, it's like setting little goals for yourself.
So you go first.
Ooh, I like that. A year. I just want to continue to be on the same progress I'm on right now. I feel like I'm in a good headspace, and it's reflecting in my work.
I agree on that.
It feels good. 5 years from now,
are you still going to be in the industry in 5 years? Or where do you see yourself?
Apparently, the people around me said that I need to be in the industry, and it's going to be something that I'm going to have to be in for the rest of my life because I already dedicated my life to this.
Right.
it's not even I didn't dedicate my life to the industry. I dedicated my life to this culture of hip hop. And shout out to hip hop's birthday the other day. It's 43 years old, I think it was.
I think it's older than that.
Maybe it is 73. 1973. Kool Herc's first party. Yeah, 1973.
It was, where was it, in a gymnasium?
I thought it was like in a rec park in the Bronx. Sedgwick in, I should know my history. But, you know, you guys know I'm a scatterbrain.
August 11th.
I was right, yeah.
73, a back to school gym.
Yeah.
Sedgwick Ave, Bronx.
Yeah, I was right. Shout out to Kool Herc.
Yes.
Godfather of hip hop, man. So I think I'm tied into this culture. Whether I'm DJing 5 years from now, I want to just continue to build my brand and build an audience and spread love. I didn't get into DJing so much for the music, or I did the music, but I like to DJ to give people an escape from reality, to take them on a journey, to take them away from their fucking daily pains and bullshit. To just like, if I could give somebody an hour just to forget about all the drama they had to deal with at work and at home, that's what I want to be able to do. And music are the colors that I could paint with. They're just a tool, you know what I mean?
So I also think that too is reflecting on that, is that we are an escape for people. These people, you know, some people just work all
Experiences,
week.
yeah.
And you just have 3 hours to just let loose.
And forget about it.
Forget about stuff, yeah. All right, now 10 years.
10 years, I'd like to continue to be in the business. I'd like to curate rooms maybe.
Wow, I like that.
I think that's a good place for me. I really know a lot when it comes to this business as far as seeing what works in a room and what doesn't.
Right.
I have a lot of opinions. I think our industry, we spoke about this in the beginning of our podcast, but it's so important to create these experiences for people. Like Studio 54, again, reflecting back into why I DJ the way I do, because I want you to come see me every week, not knowing what I'm going to do, knowing it's just going to be a good time.
And it's going to be different.
And be excited about it.
Right.
Studio 54, they didn't have to do shit. But they changed the club every fucking week.
Yep.
That was awesome. I don't think clubs need to book these big EDM DJs as much as they do. I think if you put that money into creating experience for your clients or your clientele, is more important than having a big name DJ in the room.
That's a big discussion that we could talk about, actually.
Yeah, I really think I come from this place. The Box, New York. Every night they would do a show. It would be different. You could go there every night. You know, sometimes you see the same acts, but they're just structured different, or they're just placement different, and it gave the room an excitement. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather take the $20,000 budget, recreate the room to look different,
Yeah.
and bring in some crazy like dancers or something. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, I rather
Theatrical act.
yeah,
like
I'd rather redecorate. Oh, so one of the parties that was dope at the Box was they would do a beach party. All right, this is a nightclub. They would set. This shit is crazy. It was one of the dopest parties. They used to do a beach party. They used to do a gang party where everybody dressed up as a different gang member, and they would have different like gang sections, like the Warriors, like
Really?
in like, so every table was like a different gang, like mural behind it. But the employees would dress up as different gang members. You know what I mean? But the beach party was the shit, and it sold out every time. They would put the DJ booth in the middle of the dance floor on top of a fucking life, like what are they called?
Lifeguard stand?
Lifeguard stand.
No
and
way.
Filled the entire club with sand, bro.
Imagine cleaning that up.
Oh my God, sand everywhere. But it was so lit, dude. The whole club dance floor is filled with sand, bro.
That's crazy.
That's an experience.
Yeah, that's an experience.
You know what I mean? So that keeps people wanting to come back and spend money.
Right.
If you know what you're going to see every time, you're going to start seeing people, you know, clients start declining. I mean, you know, the GA or the amount of people that come will start getting less and less, because they're going to be like, oh, it's that again?
Yeah.
You got to keep fresh. You got to keep creating.
I like that.
So if I could do it, that'd be my 10-year plan. Is help
like that.
create experiences, curate rooms, help pick the right DJs for the right things too.
I like that.
So you in 10 years.
I'll start with 1 year.
Oh shit! I thought you did 5. My bad, guys. Sorry.
I'll do 1 year.
Talking too much.
1 year, I think, obviously, want to progress. You know, I think that it's only been 2 months of coming back.
Yeah.
So thinking about a year, it's just hopefully just making it through this winter and coming back.
We're still trying to get acclimated. The year's too short. I think the 5 or 10 years is
So,
the
yeah,
more
5 years, obviously, you want
realistic.
to continue to grow. I think the way the club scene is, it will be changed in 5 years, whether it will be smaller lounges, whether it be, but I still obviously want to be a part of it. And I think not being out every night as I get older and doing more of things that you were saying, you know, curating these parties and in picking, you know, new places to explore, new places to have parties. You know, maybe even working on a festival or something. And I think that would be like a 10-year plan to.
And working with like other promoters that are exciting too. That's a big thing too, man.
Huge thing, yeah.
You know, people get really comfortable really quick sometimes, and then when that happens, they start slacking.
Slacking
You need
big
somebody
time.
that's hungry, that's excited to be there,
Yep.
and then you can also feed off that energy
You want to
and
hear,
it
you want to hear
spikes
something crazy?
That's why I think you coming over here was a great idea because you excited everybody.
Well, I appreciate that. But
Yeah,
you know what?
I want to hear something awesome.
In the 10-year plan,
Yeah,
the person that could be making things happen could be like 11 years old right now.
yeah,
That's crazy.
facts.
All right, I have to. Now I feel we'll change the subject on that one. Guys, thanks for the question of the week. That's
keep
crazy.
them coming. Hit us on our Instagram at I'm the promoter, he's the DJ. Our Gmail is the same. I'm the promoter, he's the DJ.
Some 5th grader right now doesn't know that he's going to be the next big thing. That's crazy.
That's nuts, bro. That's nuts.
Too nuts.
Yo, you know what time it is.
I'ma get on yo. I'ma get on yo. I'ma get on yo in a minute and review this piece of shit place.
You know what time it is. The favorite segment of the show. The most funniest one. Is that a word, funniest? It is today. God dang it. Best part of this show, Jeff London with the sick Yelp reviews. Go ahead, fam.
All right, we got Frank F.
Frank F.
Sucked. The dance floor was tiny. The DJ had no music that I asked him to play and was really weird looking. The bartenders were also barely paying attention to anything that was going on. There was also some bosso. I think she means bozo.
Oh, it's spelled B-O-S-O.
Yeah. Bosso.
How would you spell Bozo? Oh, it'd be
B-O-Z-O.
Zio. Yeah.
Bosso the clowns dancing around swinging their shirts like their hair. I
What's
whip
the
my hair
asterisk,
back and
though?
forth. Yeah, asterisk. I whip my hair back and forth. And the bouncers just stood there trying to contain them instead of grabbing them by the throats and tossing them. Never again.
Oh, the asterisk says I whip my hair back and forth. Cool.
She's mad the DJ was really weird looking.
Wait, I think it was a dude.
Frank, yes. Sorry, Frank. Frank was mad about the weird looking DJ.
I mean, that's something that I feel like a woman would say. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird.
Wow, Frank, you really special, man.
Yeah. All right, next one is Fred J. Fred J says, want to stand in an empty room for $10 a beer?
Again, not that expensive for a beer.
No, that's expensive for a beer.
In a club?
Yeah, not a drink, but a beer.
Oh, I've never bought a beer in a club. I thought they were like $14.
No, like a drink would be like 14 to 20. A beer would be like 7 to 10.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I'm out.
If you're ever tempted to walk in there, do yourself a favor. Lock yourself in a closet and Venmo a random person because you're essentially be getting the same experience with the added benefit of never leaving your home.
I like that one. Fred J's creative.
Yeah, Fred J.
That was a good one. That was a good one. We'll give that one a round of applause for sure.
And we got one more.
This one looks pretty good. Jeff always says the best for last. At least he tries to, though.
I try it.
Definitely.
Mark S.
He builds the suspense.
This place is filled with amateurs and people I describe as hardos.
All right, let's pause right there. What is a hardo?
Somebody who just like acts tough.
I'm Googling that shit right now.
You never heard the word hardo?
No.
Like you act tough, like he's such a hardo?
Comes up with what is hardo's banking. Is that short for like hard on?
No, like you're like a
There's a rapper named
Hurley, give me it to me.
I feel like a hardo would be like a Chad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad, bro. One time, Hurley coming through. A hardo is someone who tries incredibly hard at everything and is extreme douche. Always wants to fight people to show how tough they are.
Yeah.
So it sounds like somebody with a very small penile.
Maybe.
By the way, there is a rapper named Hardo from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shout him out.
Nice. Shout out to hardo. All right, let me start this one.
Start it over. Mark S.
This place is filled with amateurs and people I describe as hardos. Went there for about an hour before I met up with some people at a different place. For some reason, someone thought that $5 to get in would be worth the price of admission. I'd rather get the gallon of gas for $5 and burn this place down.
This guy's aggressive.
The bar itself looks like you just walked in to meet somebody from GQ and drink martinis, but it's really just full of lax bros slugging high lifes. I noticed there was an upstairs, but I didn't even bother trying. I drank my beer and left.
Wow, that's pretty funny.
Dude, he said he'd rather have the $5 to get a gallon of gas.
Guy's aggressive.
And burn the place down.
That's amazing because it sounds like it's a very classy, nice place. They just let the wrong crowd in.
Sounds like
Door guy must suck. Wasn't Jeff?
Nope.
I'ma get on yo. I'ma get on yo. I'ma get on yo in a minute and review this piece of shit place.
Yeah, man. So go ahead. What's this next segment?
We got a little music corner with Jason.
Yeah, man. What's the verses? What was the question?
So we've talked
Yeah.
about verses on here a bunch.
I
okay?
mean, it's inevitable because it's such a great. It's amazing, by the way, because I love what it's doing for the culture,
100%.
especially the Dipset and Locks thing. You know what was great about that? People were really excited about it.
people are still talking about it.
People still talking about it today. It had such an impact. Fat Joe's interpretation of the
His
whole night.
recap,
His
yeah.
recap was probably one of the greatest things
yeah.
I've ever seen in my life. The fact that he's like, today's price is not yesterday's price.
So
I mean,
funny.
yesterday's price is not today's price. I mean, I got to get the quote right?
It was
Like,
hilarious.
oh my God. Who's that ESPN sports broadcaster, the black dude that's got like the little afro?
Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
Yo, he sounded like he's been watching Stephen A. Smith like
Yeah.
all day long.
I'm
dude.
sure Fat Joe watches a lot of
Yeah,
Stephen A.
because he
Smith.
kept on like he'd say it and then he'd go, "Du-du-du," and then he'd just pause for a
Yeah.
minute. Oh, it was so good, man. So
So-
I'm glad we talk about the verses. Yeah.
So a lot of shows that I tune into, Drink Champs and Charlemagne and stuff like that, have been having guests on that have been talking about verses. Obviously, so we got one the other day. Shout out to Calvin, he sent me this. Mariah, and I know you watched it as well.
I did.
So
And-
Nick Cannon claims
Uh-huh.
on the Breakfast Club that nobody alive today could go up against Mariah Carey.
Except for
I forget who.
R. Kelly.
Oh,
But
that's
he-
right. That's right. He said R. Kelly.
it, but he could never
And the
have
reason
that.
being is that Mariah not only sings it, but writes it, help produces it, does everything. Whereas all these other artists just, besides R. Kelly, just sing the song or have little parts of the how the song comes about.
Yeah, like you.
And now, do you agree? So the question is, do you agree on that, or do you think that there's anybody who can go against Mariah?
Well, to be totally honest with you, I've heard that before, that Mariah wrote her own stuff, but I didn't remember that. For her to write her own shit is like really big. See, like they think like Beyonce's a huge artist, Rihanna's a huge artist, right?
They are. They're enormous
They're
artists.
enormous. Justin Bieber, take that back. Justin Bieber writes, but Beyonce doesn't write. Rihanna doesn't write. They only get mechanical rights. They only get They only get paid when they perform the songs. But speaking on that, don't quote me. I just try to be careful what I say sometimes. But I believe that sometimes when you get to that status of being like a Beyonce or a Rihanna, you as a writer have a song, and they're like, well, we're gonna put it on an album, but you have to give Beyonce or Rihanna writer's credit,
right? So
even though they didn't even have anything to do with the song, like "Shine Bright Like Diamonds" by Rihanna, "Shine Bright Like a Diamond" was done by Sia.
Right.
Now, if you listen to her sing that song, she sings it so different than she sings other songs because she copied Sia to a T.
Yeah.
Sia wrote that song in 27 seconds on the way out to the airport to catch a flight.
Really?
Yeah. One of the greatest interviews, not greatest, but a really good interview that I heard was Howard. First of all, Howard Stern is an amazing, amazing interviewer.
Yes.
Put all his antics and all the poop jokes and all the fun stuff aside, he really gets people to like say shit that they would not normally say because he gets them so comfortable. He's like a genius at that. So one of the greatest interviews. Again, I shouldn't say greatest. One really great interview that I heard was him interview Sia, and she sang that live on his show, and it was unbelievable.
I've seen her sing live. It's unbelievable. It's so crazy.
She's great. So with that being said, I thought he said Mary too.
How about this one? I just thought of this in my head.
I don't know.
What about in 10 years if The Weeknd keeps going how he is?
Yeah, that'd be something because he definitely writes his stuff. That Weeknd's too. He's not on, like, Mariah's been around since like the early 90s. Like, he's not seasoned enough to.
If he goes on the same trajectory, would you put The Weeknd up there?
Yeah, for sure. But could you do Mariah and something like Prince?
Well, Prince isn't alive.
If he was, though.
Of course.
I don't think you put Prince. I think if you were to do a Verzuz, this shit's going to sound crazy. Yeah.
Who?
Stevie Wonder versus Prince.
Oh, Stevie.
That shit would be fire.
Yeah.
I think a really good one they've been really good with picking people that kind of like work well with each other. I didn't watch the Bow Wow one, Soulja Boy one, because that's just irrelevant to me. Sorry. The Earth, Wind, and Fire, Isley Brothers was
so good.
Too.
Yeah.
And having Steve Harvey host was such a key.
That's the other thing with the Verzuz too, is it's just not new people. It's people that have a lot of catalogs. So, you have
to have a catalog.
Well,
you have to have 20 songs.
Well, it's true. Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, so it's artists.
But not only 20 songs, you have to have almost 20 bangers.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So Mariah, I know it's just the problem I have with Mariah is I'm not a big pop guy, but know what I loved about Mariah at the same time was like the early 2000s, late 90s when she was doing all like all those remixes with like really
like
Honey, like with Bad Boy,
Fantasy,
ODB, rest in peace. What else was there? The DJ Clue remixes.
Yeah. Well, what about this now that Mariah, she did actually a song with this group too. How about Boys to Men?
Do they write their own shit though?
Oh, that's a good question.
If Boys to Men wrote all their own music, that would be a good Verzuz. Mariah versus Boys to Men. I'd have.
And
to
then
agree.
the final song, they just sing the song together.
Yeah. And everybody cries. It'd pretty much be an emotional night.
Oh man!
I see the second one, the T-Pain versus
Future, which they talked about.
They did. On this was on the. Which one was it?
It was on Drink Champs.
Drink Champs, yeah. This is with Noriega. Shout out Noriega and Effin. You cannot put them together. Obviously, T-Pain broke it down the right way. The greatest one, I mean, not a really good one, was T-Pain and Lil Jon because both of their catalogs are so diverse.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really good one.
I thought that was an awesome one.
Because it was actually two producers and writers.
Right.
And like, it was so funny because Lil Jon's playing like a crunk song. The next song he's playing like a Pitbull record.
Right.
Or like a reggaeton record, you know what I'm saying? Or an EDM record, and T-Pain has the same kind of catalog.
You know why they asked about Future and stuff?
Yeah, why?
Because Future and T-Pain obviously friends, or were friends, or still friends. But Future, I think it was, Future in Future New Bugatti? He did it with
Oh shit, Ace Hood.
Ace Hood.
Was it Ace Hood?
Yeah, it's Ace Hood.
Again, I'm not really good.
They used T-Pain's Bugatti in the video, and they like didn't tell him.
No.
They were like, "Yeah, can we borrow your Bugatti?" And then they pretended like it was their own. Yeah,
that's crazy. Who would you put Future? Do you think Future and Drake would be a good versus?
No, it wouldn't be close.
I can't be honest. I shouldn't say this. I'm not really a big Future fan.
He's all right. I like him. Not like he's not my favorite thing, but I like him.
I do like him. I'm not saying I hate him.
He has good club songs.
I was gonna say the opposite.
I mean,
he had a few. Yeah, I can't.
What? He doesn't have songs that you can just like
no.
chill out to.
Sometimes I'll play like a Future song that people want to hear so bad it'll just suck all the energy out of the room.
But like Mask Off and stuff, people.
That's different. There's a few. All right, I played a couple last night. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Future thing. I want to ask you what you think about the baby. You think he's done?
No.
You think he's gonna come out?
He already
come out the other
apologized, and then he took back his apology.
Wait, he took back his apology?
Well, like, he erased it. He erased it off his social media, and Kanye took him off his album and stuff like that. And
man, this cancel culture is crazy.
He's got to smarten up. Just leave it how it is.
Oh my God! Speaking about the music segment, I watched the Hot 97 Morning Show interview with Tyler, the Creator. That guy is I know I keep saying this, and I watched his performance at Lollapalooza.
The Lollapalooza performance is a must-watch.
It's amazing. And if that's what the tour is going to look like, it's going to look insane.
It was a movie set.
It's a movie set. The creative mind that this gentleman has is unbelievable. And then he was talking about the part where, like, Khaled was so butthurt over the fact that Tyler won.
Got number one. And in Khaled's whole thing is, we the best, number one.
But he won a Grammy over, all that stuff. And it was just like,
they need to do an album together.
I want to quote. I should have wrote down what Tyler said, but he's like, he only knows what's over here. Right. He doesn't know you only know what your environment is. Mm-hmm. So you can't say that he's wrong, because he's not wrong, because that's all he knows in his environment. So a good example is that, like, coming up, when we were coming up, we didn't hear West Coast songs on the East Coast. So we can't say Too Short. We know now that Too Short is an amazing artist, but coming up we didn't know that because we didn't hear that on the East Coast.
And and everything.
But that doesn't say that Too Short isn't a great artist. Right. We just didn't. It wasn't in our environment.
Exactly.
So we can't say that it's bad. So you are only. It's basically just saying you're only. You have to just kind of like understand that people aren't wrong when they say things like that, because all they know is what they surround themselves with.
Very true.
Unless you open your eyes, and luckily I feel like you and I are pretty much the same, that we love to experience other things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because
it's fun, and it's not only fun, but it's just I love learning new stuff, and I like to hear new music. So it's not like I can't say, I hate country music. I can't say I hate it because I don't know it.
Yeah, you haven't experienced it yet.
But if somebody won a Grammy over somebody that I know, I was like, oh, that's bullshit. I don't know this person. But other people do, and they're not wrong either.
Right.
That crew that likes this country group is looking at this hip-hop group like, who the hell are these people, too, at the same time? So you only know what you're surrounding yourself with.
I like that.
Open your eyes and don't judge people, because sometimes you don't know that people don't know anything out of their circle of shit.
And that's positive, and I think we go right into the positive news. I love that.
Yo, I'm so excited about this positive news because I have something to interject after we're done. So go ahead, man. Let's go.
Give me some positive news.
I'll give you some positive news. This just in. Here at the PNN Network, Positive News Network, with your host, Jeff London.
All right, so it's been 20 years since the tragic death of Aaliyah.
Rest in peace. It's my dog's name.
And for the past 20 years, her music catalog, well, 20 years ago they weren't streaming stuff, but her music catalog since streaming has come out has not been streamed. And they are announcing, starting on August 20th, they are putting out One in a Million, her first album, One in a Million. 2 weeks after that, and every week after that, her other albums. So her music is finally going to be streaming, which is amazing.
Amazing. Because I went to, I got in a mood the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I want to hear some Aaliyah. I looked on all my streaming platforms. I couldn't find an Aaliyah song. I was just like, yo, it was crazy.
There are people that obviously go through music and stuff that have never, people have never heard Aaliyah.
Yo, that's crazy.
Crazy.
But no, what sucked is that I have basically her whole catalog. But at that moment, I've never gone on, when I'm in my car and I want to hear something, I basically can find anything I want to find.
Yeah.
Unless it's something obscure that I know doesn't exist because, you know, coming up through this industry, a lot of songs that I have on vinyl never came out or they were never, you know, so that's something different. But like to type in Aaliyah on all my streaming platforms and not hear anything.
Crazy.
I was like, what the fuck? So I actually went home and Googled why, and that came up. And then to hear this the other day is amazing. So I'm so excited for Aaliyah to bring back out, man.
And another person another group that's going streaming later this year is De La Soul, which they
got their masters back from.
So they're gonna be able to stream as well. So
I saw the tweet. They said this was all planned. We're just making it suspenseful
for 20 years. Yeah.
Do you know a quick story on the De La Soul thing? I remember a few years ago, the same thing happened with De La Soul that kind of happened with Ruckus Records.
Yeah.
Pharoah Monch's album got fucked. I think it might have collapsed Ruckus Records because they never cleared Pharoah Monch's samples. And I don't know, I think the whole story is that Tommy Boy never cleared any De La Soul samples. So you couldn't go and buy their music on iTunes back 10 years ago. So De La Soul, actually, I have the catalog because they actually gave it away.
Wow.
With all the inserts to the albums, everything.
Really?
So I downloaded it, of course, because, you know, De La Soul is the shit. And yeah. That was pretty amazing to understand that too. So shout out to De La Soul. Congrats on getting your masters back. Yeah, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's the positive news.
It sure is.
Oh, yeah. Another great show. Another great show. Thank you guys for tuning in as always, weekly.
Yeah, we really appreciate y'all, man, for real. We wouldn't still be doing this if it wasn't for you guys because at this point, we are inspired by you guys now is what I'm saying. So,
absolutely. So keep sending those questions.
So if nobody was listening, I probably wouldn't still be doing this shit.
Probably not. Yeah.
Obviously, thank you guys so much for keeping us here. So
and you can find Jason at
Jason Smith Music on Instagram.
You can find me at Jeff London _. And you can find us at I'm the promoter.
He's the DJ. Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much, yo. See y'all next week, man.
Peace.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
Jeff London, DJ Jason Smith.